FanDuel Punch Out. I'm Jason Gilbo, JGilbo11. With me is Russell Clay at Russell J. Clay. Taking a look at tonight's 8-game slate here on FanDuel. And, we're talking about pitching. Bumgarner, the clear-cut top option, but he doesn't necessarily kill you. He does leave you a little bit hindered as far as those next-tier bats.
Yeah, absolutely hinders you a little bit, but at the same time, I think you're willing to take the hit to pay up for his upside. Obviously, way higher upside and way higher ceiling than anyone else on this slate.
Yeah, and there's no Coors game to really think about. I mean, last night was different. He obviously had Scherzer, who didn't do too well, but you kind of had to make that choice as far as, do I want bats or do I want pitching? And tonight, I think that choice is a little easier to make.
Definitely.
So, first game here, you got the Rays and Orioles, and Chris Tone's a guy who I don't necessarily find myself picking on a ton, but I do like some of these price tags for these value guys, like the Rays, like a Dickerson or a Forsythe, even a Brad Miller at 3,300. I mean, Camden Yard's really friendly for lefty power. But, I mean, Tillman's been pretty strong this season, but still I think he is going to roll out to some averageness shortly this season, but I do think he's an option.
It would be fun if tonight, like in the middle of the game, they were like, and pinch hitting for Brad Miller, and they brought out the former basketball player, and he's just like probably fat and really retired now, and then he just swung and struck out a few times. That'd be fun.
I'm currently Googling who the hell Brad Miller is in the NBA because he's obviously some white guy who didn't probably play a whole lot.
Oh yeah, he used to play for the Pacers, and then he was on the playoff teams for a little while there.
Okay, how many minutes did he average a game? Let's put it there. I don't care who he was on in what, because you know what? I mean,
20 minutes probably. He wasn't. He was that, when like Shaq was the only good center in the NBA, and then like in 2K or whatever, it'd go from like a 95 to like a 76. He was like that second or third guy down.
I'm going to say third. I don't think he was a 76 worthy guy.
All right, fine. I'm still leaning towards this Orioles lineup. I think everyone being under 4K, while it's still expensive for FD, I'm okay with those prices. As you mentioned, you're going with the right-handed bats more so because Odorizzi, yeah, not Andriese. That was wild for a second. Glad I caught myself. Punch out, shotgun shells flying everywhere. This is a mess of some analysis right now, but we're gonna get there. Mark Trumbo.
Yeah,
Mark Trumbo, play him.
Yeah, I like Trumbo. I do like the right-handed bats. Odorizzi, extremely home run against righties. Going back to last year, 1.61 home runs per 9, 330 allowed. So in that ballpark, I do like Jones. I like Machado. I like Trumbo. Scope obviously slip into the lineup with Machado back, but still in play for me. They are a little bit more expensive, but I do think if you came down to a Teheran or a Maeda, they're certainly very more playable.
For sure.
So next game, you got the Dodgers and Pirates. And looking at some of these guys, these bats, I mean, I like the Dodgers bats a little bit more here on FanDuel because of the price tags. I mean, if you do want to get a Bumgarner in there with some other elite options, I mean, obviously Kike Hernandez, 2.1. I mean, he's by no means a good player, but if he's going to hit off against a bad lefty in a leadoff spot, I'll take a look.
I don't think you have to be good at 2,100. I just think you have to you just need to be kind of lucky, and then you hit value, So, 2,100. If he's in the lineup and batting leadoff, like he's projected to do, then that's a great play for sure. And then you mentioned them on DK, but they're even better values here. Trace Thompson and Howie Kendrick, both under 3K. So you absolutely love that. And I think they kind of take Adrian Gonzalez out of play here because they're cheaper, and I actually kind of like them better in this matchup.
Yeah, definitely. And I like a Hanley Ramirez at a similar price more than Gonzalez.
Yeah, right.
Justin Turner's still in play. I mean, usually he is a reverse splits guy. but definitely still playable hitting out of the 3 hole. I mean, you're like a lock. I mean, 330 will ball out to righties. Even
Mm,
Puig, I mean, Puig is priced way up on DraftKings at 4.6. Here,
25.
I don't
Yeah.
mind. I don't mind that one bit. I mean, he's the guy. He hits one in the
Right.
gap. He'll run for days.
Hmm.
You know, the thing with him, he has to prove that he can be healthy. But we know the talent with him.
Right. Switching over to the Pirates again. McCutcheon's even more expensive here than he is on DK. I'm just out on that price completely. Against Maeda, I like Maeda's price, so I'm probably going to be throwing some shares in here on FD if I'm not going Bumgarner. So yeah, I'm not too keen. I mean, I can't deny Jung Ho at 29, but other than that, I'm not really targeting these Pirates.
No, I definitely agree with you. They're not in play for me on FanDuel. I mean, Kane's the only reasonable option I could see using, and
Hmm.
he's just the GPP play for me.
Right.
So, Mets and Braves, the next one here, and this one I think we kind of quickly glossed over. I mean, both two quality arms. Not really looking at guys to take against this spot. I mean, yes, maybe a Freddie Freeman at 3.3 it to be different.
Yeah.
DeGrom hasn't been exactly his electric self, where I'm completely staying away. But Freeman's the only real notable bat in this Atlanta team.
Yeah, 3,300. Decent price for him. Obviously crushes righties. If he gets pitched to. So you do like that. Braves have been frisky lately, but I'm not firing them out there against DeGrom.
No, in the Mets bats, I mean, I'm not really looking at Tehran, who's been
No.
really solid, and this Mets lineup just really hasn't been that great. This is a situation where you kind of X this one off the board for offense tonight.
Yeah, I will say I think they're I don't know. Never mind. I was gonna try to make something for the Mets, but I just can't do it.
Yeah, I mean,
I was going into battle for them. I was gonna come up with something and there's just nothing. So I stopped myself. But
it's a very strategic move for us. I'm
yeah,
proud of you.
I'm glad I did that. I'm glad I stopped. So we can move on.
Astros and Royals here, and I like the prices on both sides. You
Mm,
look at the Royals first things first here, and those right-handed bats are really a really nice price tag. I mean, Whit Merrifield 3.4, Escobar 2.8,
yeah.
Kane 3.2, Perez 3.2. You're looking at Fires. I mean, it hasn't really been great against right-handed pitching. 3.34 wall ball allowed since last year, 36% hard ball rate, 1.45 runs per nine. All those bats are really intriguing, and even a Hosmer right there in the middle at 3K is intriguing for me too.
Yeah, I think that's one of the main moves you're looking at if you go Bumgarner. That's a really solid grouping there, and I don't think there's any way they get completely shut down here. So I think they have a pretty high floor. I kind of like them as a cash combination with Bumgarner.
Yeah, I do a lot too. I mean, Kane and Perez, I mean, they all kind of fit in that tier of kind of being right in that range that Bumgarner kind of leaves you. I mean, you have to go a little lower elsewhere, but
Mhm.
really nice core against Fires, who really hasn't been that great.
Right.
Houston side of things, I mean, obviously Young against lefties has been the big thing, but still home run prone against right-handers. The price tags are still high here, and even a guy like Rasmus at 3.4 is a little bit more expensive. The same with Valbuena. I mean, they're
Yeah, they're not as yeah.
I
But
like them. I mean, don't get me wrong.
uh-huh. Altuve is the one that's really the big difference here. He's 5,600 on DK and only 4K here. So I don't mind that. But beyond that, this is an expensive stack. So you're probably gonna have to pay down for maybe a terrain or something like that to get them in there or Maeda.
Yeah, definitely. And I do like Springer. I mean, Springer's come out for Monster Night, and Altuve Correa also carries some upside.
Hmm.
Um, I do like taking shots as far as Rasmus Valbuena goes. I do wish they're not quite the kind of cheaper-ish options. I mean, they're still in that mid-range where they don't really free up a ton of other salary, which is my biggest
Right.
issue because I want them alongside them.
Right. Exactly.
So, overall, I mean, definitely still in play though, because you look at Young. I mean, against lefties, 378 will go allowed 2.49 home runs per nine.
He's gonna be a great slow pitch softball guy. Like
Oh,
just
definitely.
lob it up and then take your best swing at it. So I mean, that's pretty much what he's doing now. So, yeah, and that's my peek into his future.
Red Sox and Rangers here, and a high scoring game projected. You and I mean, here it's a little bit different. The Rangers bats are kind of priced as usual.
Yeah,
I'm not really looking at the Rangers against right. I mean, certainly you
no,
could maybe fire off maybe a right-hander like a Desmond or Beltre. I'm not really looking to take lefties against right here just because he hasn't been prone to really blowing up. And
no, and it's not really a lefty or righty thing, you know. It's just kind of like, can you hit this gosh darn knuckleball that is ridiculous? So, um, Beltray, again, I was sort of throwing him out there as a tournament plan, DK, but at 35, I mean, normally you don't see guys 600 more on FanDuel than DK. So obviously out of play here. I just think there's better options at his price. And again, Mazzara more expensive here. Fielder the same price. I mean, and you're not really looking at him anyway. Yeah, I'm not going to bat for these guys at these prices.
no, and the thing is, you can't even say that you hope they get into the bullpen because Wright's a guy
Right.
who's going to pitch 120, 130 pitches a game,
Mhm.
and he's going to go 7 innings plus. So you're not banking on that. I do think maybe there's 3 or 4 runs here, maybe 5. I don't think it's a great offensive target here on FanDuel. The values really
Mhm.
aren't that great.
Yeah, no, I agree.
As far as the Red Sox side of things go, I mean, obviously the top 4 is very much in play. I like the difference from Hanley to Ortiz as far as the price difference. Obviously, Ortiz is the much more consistent guy. Bradley Jr. at 3.6 is really intriguing, and I like this ballpark. I like this matchup for the Sox team too.
Hey, Hanley's finally starting to turn it on. I mean, 2 homers in the last 3 games. He sort of had some really big games in the last 2 weeks. So, I mean, that's just another addition to that Red Sox offense, and he's coming at by far one of the best values right now. So, yeah, I like his value again tonight.
Yeah, I do too. And I mean, they're kind of like the Astros. I mean, you're gonna have to pay up and pay down at pitching to
Yeah.
get them into your lineups, but it's certainly one that pay off. I mean, as you mentioned, Taylor's a guy who you can take a look at, and you can fit some of these bats in.
What about Jaff, bro? 2K. I mean, you can fit him in. Then you got Ortiz, you got Bumgarner, you got Altuve, you got all of them, bro.
I still don't even think that's enough to get him all of them in.
No, it's definitely not.
Jaff Decker now stepping to the plate. Jaff Decker.
Jaff, dude. That's a wild. He must have had a wild childhood. Like
Yeah,
the
how can you not?
jokes.
He was one of those
Like
kids with the ponytails in the gas stations.
he definitely no. Okay. Ponytail in the back. He definitely spiked his hair in the front for
Oh
sure.
yeah, it was a borderline mullet.
And he rode definitely skateboarded with cut off t-shirts. I mean, yeah, Jaff.
Yeah, Jaff.
Yeah.
Jaff was kicked out of several elementary schools.
Yes. Oh, absolutely. Once he got to high school, he calmed down, but he was a wild kid in middle school.
Yeah, he played baseball and
Yeah.
he realized, like, hey, I need to tone it down. I'm pretty good. Maybe sucker punched an umpire.
Definitely like went into school with like dirt all over his shirt. Like
I'm just imagining, like, Pigpen from Charlie Brown, like,
or Joe Dirt.
yeah. All right. Next game here, we got the A's and Angels. These Angels bats are intriguing on tonight's slate against Overton, a lefty. Givatel is the guy, if Escobar's out, hit leadoff last night with 3 hits. He's a really intriguing option at third base in that mid-tier.
Mm. What? What'd you say? Givatella?
Yeah, if he hits leadoff again. I mean, either way,
Yes.
he's in play, but leadoff is much better for him.
Yes, definitely. He's much more neutrally priced here, obviously over 4K on DK. So I do like Giovatella pretty much regardless of where he is in the order, but obviously you mentioned the incentive of if he's hitting high, then yeah, definitely a nice value there. Trout, elite play, obviously, as always, against lefties, crushes that. Cron 2,800, gotta like that as well. I think we're pretty comfortable with skipping over Pujols in this sort of lineup right now.
I don't mind him. I mean, GPP play at most. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, he's not himself. He's not his usual self, but a decent matchup and
I
worth a
mean,
look.
I kind of miss old Pujols, to be honest. He was my favorite player. But
those days
huh?
those
What'd
days
you
are
say?
gone.
Yeah, I know. That's what happens when you get someone who pays you $500 million. You're just like, well, guess every motivation I've ever had is gone now.
Yeah, I mean, if I lived in Southern California and got paid
Yeah.
500 million to, you know, hit baseballs every now and then. The A's offense, I mean, you're looking at Chacin. I mean,
Yeah.
against lefties, really hasn't been that great.
Love that Valencia price.
Yeah, me too. And Vogt a little bit more expensive here, but definitely still in play. I mean, 354 will be allowed to lefties, 1.55 home runs per nine. I like the Burns, the Vogt, Valencia. Davis a little bit more expensive, but still worth it. Not quite as badly priced as DK, and even a Jet Lowry at 2.7 is not a bad option.
Yep. I definitely like this grouping. I really think Valencia can be a cash game guy tonight at that price. So you're looking at him and Vogt once again. I like Vogt to sort of turn around a season here in the next couple games. So I think this is a really nice matchup again for him.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. And, next game here, you got the Phillies and Giants. Obviously, you can cross out that Phillies offense as far as
No.
with Bumgarner on the hill.
Right.
Some of these Giants bats are intriguing. I'm not expecting a ton out of them. I'm not really paying up for Bell, Posey, or Panic. Same thing with DK. I'm not really on those guys tonight.
No.
But a Crawford, Pagan, kind of span value plays, I don't really mind that much.
Yeah, again, I think those are the ways to attack this Giants team. As I mentioned on DK, I think they can get 6 runs without having anyone over well, obviously it's more on FD, but anyone over 12 to 15 fantasy points. So I think going at the cheap options in this lineup, I mean, even Connor Gillespie, 2,200. So if he's in the lineup for sure, take a look at him. Yeah, Span, like you mentioned, and Crawford 3K is a really nice deal.
Yeah, I think those value, as you mentioned, this team, I mean, not a big upside team, but they do put runs up on the board. And as you mentioned, it's station to station. I think you take those guys like Crawford. And obviously, Crawford still has some upside at the price. But guys like Pagan and that back end, I do like for the prices.
Definitely.
So I do think you can look that way. I'm not, once again, I mean, I'm not really expecting a ton.
Yeah, the you can do a min Philly stack for 8K.
Yeah, they're all $2,000, all of them.
I mean, obviously you're gonna get 0 points from all of them, but that would be funny.
I mean, the biggest thing is if somehow Bumgarner was scratched tonight.
I mean, then that would be wild. I mean, we actually did. We saw that the other day, where someone got scratched, and then the ownership, and then the ownerships were out of whack. But yeah, I mean, other than that, that's really the only hope for the Phillies tonight.
Next game, you got the Cardinals and Mariners. This Mariners team, I mean, outside of Cruz and Cano still properly priced here. I do like Leonis Martin at 3.3. I do like Seager at 3.3. Those guys are really intriguing options against the league, who's not that good against lefties. And even the Cruz and Cano price tags really aren't that bad. I certainly think 1 through 5 are certainly available as a stack, and I think a one-off from a couple of them are definitely in play for me.
Now, that 3 through 5 would definitely be something I'm going to try to get in with a Bumgarner sort of lineup there. And I think you can do it with some of the min guys around sort of the rest of the lineups. But I didn't like them as much on DK just because it's crushing you and Bumgarner's 14. But at 12 here, and I think some pretty reasonable prices, I think you might be able to sneak them in.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you just look at average against lefties at best, home runs per 9, 1.50. So
yeah,
I think you're looking at that. Yeah, you're looking at these guys. I mean, obviously Cruz. I mean, league doesn't miss bats.
Right. Well, I will say pretty good for the hitters, not for league.
No. I mean, the only thing that's against these hitters is the ballpark. I mean, that's the only thing. And we've seen some up here before.
For sure.
So Cardinals bats I'm not really on here tonight just because they carry a little bit more expense to their name. They're not quite the value guys. I mean, we looked at Piscotty. I mean, he was cheap. We looked at guys like that, Diaz. There's other guys in the
Yeah.
range that I like a lot more.
Yeah, Carpenter obviously a little cheaper here, but not enough to really make him in play. Decent matchup for him, but really nothing other than a deep tournament play at his price.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, for me, I don't really see myself getting really any Cardinals exposure at that price tag. So there's just far more better lineups that I'm looking to attack and get some better values in.
Yeah, because I mean, if you're throwing these guys in, that probably takes the top arm out of play, and you don't want to do that. I don't think there's enough upside with that lineup to really do that.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with you. So that's going to wrap things up here with the FanDuel Punch Out. Be sure to check out DailyFantasyCafe.com for all our great tools and content.